And welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the best pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL player and a weight loss champion. He's Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. I'm the weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Fourth and Pain. And right now on the Fourth and Pain hotline, Adam, your teammate, wide receiver Santana Moss. Tana, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. How's everything?
Oh, everything is great here.
We're doing good, man. You know, just getting ready for them Saints.
Exactly. Ready to rock and roll.
Santana, let's start with the football thing before we switch gears and have fun with the wrestling. This is, gosh, what was your 8th training camp now with the Redskins this year?
Yeah, eight with the Redskins and 12 total.
How are you holding up? You're a vet, but you came in obviously probably in the best shape of your career this offseason. How's the body holding up?
Honestly, man, I think that was one of the best fitness moves I ever could have made. You know, honestly, this probably been the best I've felt in a long time, and it really has me looking forward to to some good things this year, man. You know, as players, you get kind of sidetracked with a lot of stuff that's going on, and you kind of don't do anything different. Don't go outside the box. And I think for me this year, it was something that I had to do. Just knowing, what I'm used to, being on the field and how I'm used to playing. I think I needed to get back to that old me when it comes to my size. And I just, I decided to do it in the off season and came into camp feeling well, feeling faster, feeling like my old self. And that's one of the great things about what I've done.
Well, you talk about going outside the box. Can you share with us a little bit about what you did differently this offseason as compared to maybe a couple of off seasons past?
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 off seasons, I took 3 months off, like just cold turkey, didn't do anything football-wise, and didn't pretty much worry about working out until it came time for me to come back to the facility and start the off-season conditioning drills. This year, what I did, I went back to my old regimen, how I did when I first came out of college. I took only that January, that first month off, and the 1st of February, I was in the weight room, getting it on and training like the old. And I think for me starting so early, I didn't really have a chance to worry about, coming in, heavy or coming in not in shape because I had a jump on everybody else. So I really came in shape and got in more and more and more shape, as the whole off-season regimen went on. So that was something that I wasn't used to doing as a Redskin, and I did it a lot my first few years when I played with the Jets, and I went back to it, and it's done wonders for me.
Well, I know there's actually a lot of different philosophies on what to do in the offseason. I know some guys who will take 3 months off. I know some guys who will take, maybe a week or two, and then they hit it hard. So there's a lot of different philosophies. I kind of like to take about a month off like what Santana did and then kind of get back and get back into shape because I feel like I lose too much if I do more than that. So I completely agree with what he's saying. My question is this training camp and last year's training camp with the new CBA, how do you think that compares to our old training camps, and how do you feel now coming out of it and this being your 12th year in the league?
I think the training camps that we have now also can kind of do a lot of justice for us too when it comes to, taking care of our bodies and just, having us better, when it comes to first week of the season. I've been to some training camps to where, after those first couple of preseason games and the season comes, you like, man, I'm beat already, and I think, these past 2 years, with the less this and the less that, not having to be out there pounding, twice a day and stuff like that, and having having certain days off in a week, that can really contribute to having healthier players come week 1.
No, man, I would completely agree with that. Like 2-a-days. And, now we have mandatory days off once a week. I'm with Santana. I think it's just smarter. It's not just beating yourself into the ground every place. So I completely agree with what he just said right there.
Well, Santana, did you hear about Carriker's wild off-season training regimen? I got to ask, and I'm asking basically, Adam, all of your teammates that come on the show. Tana, did you hear about what this guy did to make sure that he was in shape coming in this year?
Nah, let me have it. I didn't hear about it. What did he do?
All right, this dude is straight crazy. Okay, so you know how like when you go in your car and you've left it out in the sun, you open it up and it's about 120 degrees in there?
Yeah.
All right, so this guy, not only did he get in that car, he didn't roll down those windows, he didn't turn on the AC. No, this guy turned on the heat, and he drove to the gym in that heat. And mind you, he's wearing his winter gear from his college days in Nebraska. We're talking about Arctic gear. This guy could go to Antarctica with what he's wearing. Then he goes into the gym, he gets his cardio on, he gets his lifts on. Oh, by the way, his car is parked outside of the gym, still in the sweltering heat. He gets back in that car, windows rolled up, still just dripping with sweat, turns the heat back on, drives home, and is about dead. Is that about right?
Well, see, the thing is, I live in Colorado, and Colorado is a wonderful place to live, but it is not hot. It is not humid, and I knew we were going to be practicing at 3 o'clock every day here in wonderful, hot, and humid Virginia. So I was trying to get rid. I don't live in Miami like Santana does. I'm assuming that's where he lives in the off season. So I didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I had to create my own difficulties, if you will.
Man, just how crazy is that? Just as a guy that's been around the league for so long, Santana, could you imagine ever putting yourself through something as ridiculous as that?
I mean, honestly, man, it's something that I probably wouldn't thought of doing, but, you know, just hearing it, it's something I might try. I remember some days, you know, leaving the gym and saying how hard it was, and I'm killing myself there and trying to roll down all the windows. So I could imagine, you know, how I felt in this car, because, man, I mean, those Miami days might be a little harder than those Colorado days in the summer anyway, but it's just crazy, man. It's something that I never heard anybody do, but it's kind of unique.
Yeah, I got more than just a few weird looks. Like, what is wrong with this dude? This dude is not normal. But, you know, people out there are kind of getting used to me at this point. So, hey, but let's get into the wrestling aspect of this. Now, you're a Miami guy, and one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is The Rock. I don't think you played with him, but have you ever had a chance to interact with him and talk with him and see what he's like?
You know, honestly, man, my first couple of years in college, that was one of the only guys I watched in wrestling. You know, I mean, I wasn't a big wrestling fan. I grew up with a house, you know, that watched wrestling a lot when I was younger. But, you know, when I got older and got into college, I think The Rock was the only reason why I did pay attention to wrestling, just knowing he was from UM and then seeing him a lot in the weight room, training with us in the summer and stuff like that. So, yes, I have got a chance to talk to him and, you know, just to be around him and just to see, you know, him, who the guy outside of that ring is. You know, it was real special just to really watch him, from watching him work out and then seeing him put all that energy into the ring.
I'm curious, what were those conversations between you and he like? Was it more focused on football, or did you actually dive into a little bit of the squared circle with him?
It was nothing individual. You know, it was a group of us talking. I think talking to one of our strength coaches, and we were just so happy to be there, you know, and just listening because he had a lot of good things to talk about. But just basically telling us the same kind of mentality we take into our sport as football, because, you know, he played ball. That's the same mentality he takes into wrestling. You know, he trains the same way, and that's his job. He's there to entertain. You know, people don't realize, you know, us as football players, we're entertainers come Sunday. You know, people, man, live and die throughout the week. Can't wait to see us on Sunday go out there and make sacks and score touchdowns and, you know, have big runs and have big, you know, type of philosophy. So basically he's just letting us know that, you know, wrestling is more entertainment than it is probably, you know, when it comes to the sport of football, but he prepares himself the same way, you know, as far as, you know, to take on the same mentality of how he prepared himself for the football season playing for the University of Miami. That's how he took on his wrestling days or whatever. So it was very intriguing just to listen to him and hear some of the things he talked about, different wrestlers, and some of the crazy things that they do together, and some of the crazy things that he experienced on the ring, in the ring.
Now, my trainer currently at Billy Beck trained The Rock maybe a few years ago. So I'm curious as to what, like, when he was in the weight room, is he kind of like me? Is he kind of like throw all the weights on the bar and kind of lift the gym type guy? Is he more of a, you know, maybe Pilates, isometrics type guy? Like, what kind of workouts was he doing?
You know, honestly, man, it's hard to think back to see what he was doing back then, but, you know, you just amazed about how rocked up he looked. You know what I mean? I was a young guy, and I'm walking in there, and you're hearing the Rockers in the weight room, and, you know, you're not even thinking about the weights. You're looking at him, and you're seeing this guy yoked up walking around. So I couldn't even give you I couldn't tell you the truth on what he was lifting, but I know he was in there making some noise. You know what I mean? Everybody was in there watching and kind of spectating.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, he's all linked up. He's got that half a Samoan sleeve. Were you inspired at all to go out and maybe get a half a sleeve yourself?
You know what? Not really. I watch certain things, but I'm one of those superstitious type of guys. I do my own little thing. Whatever works for me works for me. I can't. I don't kind of lean on no one else's style or something that they might do.
And see, that's good advice for you, Adam. You should stop trying to copy me.
Yeah, you and your pink little tutu you got on right
I make
now.
it look good, baby.
You don't make anything look good. Well, thanks for coming on, Santana. I appreciate you taking your time, man. And I can't wait to kick the crap out of the Saints later today, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Thanks again for having me.
Santana Moss, Washington Redskins wide receiver. This is Fourth and Pain. We'll be right back.